Welcome to Agoracom's Small Cap Breaking News, your daily go-to source for the best small cap headlines for over 65 million investors since 2007. We've got some pretty big headlines coming out of the small cap world today, so let's just jump right in.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's see what we got.
First up, ImagineAR. They trade on the CSE as IP and OTCQB under the symbol IPNFF. They are making some headlines with a $10 million contract.
$10 million?
Yeah, for an immersive entertainment center. The headline reads, ImagineAR Days secures $10 million contract to develop 25,000 FAC QFS immersive entertainment center at Niagara Falls Hotel in Canada.
Wow, Niagara Falls. That's a pretty prime location, isn't it? A lot of tourists.
Yeah, huge tourist destination. I'm really curious to see how they're going to use AR and AI to create these really unique experiences for people.
Yeah, how are they planning to do that?
From what I've read, they're going all out with AR racing.
Yeah.
VR gaming, like all sorts of mixed reality experiences. It sounds like they're really trying to turn this hotel into like a 21st century entertainment hub.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. And their revenue model is pretty interesting, too. The press release mentions recurring annual fees.
Right.
And then like monthly royalties on top of that based on the gross sales. So it's not just a one-time payment.
Right.
They're going for that continuous stream of income.
That's smart, especially in a market that's growing so fast, like immersive entertainment. Speaking of growth, the next headline has Gold Rush written all over it. Emperor Metals is listed on the CSE as AUOZ, OTCQB as EMAUF, and FSC as 9NH. And they have struck gold, and I mean high-grade gold.
Oh, okay. Must see.
The headline says, Emperor Metals unveils Bonanza-Grade gold discovery, 21.7 meters of 35.2 grams of coal. While expanding ounces by testing previously unsampled historical core, they hit 21.7 meters of 35.2 grams of gold per ton. And there's even a section grading a whopping 301.1 grams per ton.
Whoa, those are some serious numbers. That's what they call the Bonanza-Grade for a reason. But you know what impresses me the most? Is how they found it. They used screened metallics fire assay and AI-driven modeling to boost their exploration. It's like they're bringing gold mining into the age of AI.
That's incredible. And they're already considering an open pit mining scenario.
Oh, wow.
Which could make the project even more profitable.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. Investors are going to be waiting for that updated mineral resource estimate, which is expected in Q1 or early Q2 of 2025.
For sure. Now let's shift gears from gold to copper. Arizona Sonoran trades on the TSX as ASCU and OTCQX as ASQF. And they're making a big push to become a mid-tier copper producer.
Yeah, copper is a critical metal right now, especially with the demand for electric vehicles, renewable energy, and infrastructure. Any big discoveries in this space are going to attract a lot of attention.
Well, get ready for this headline. Arizona Sonoran reports the southern extension of the high-grade core at Park Salyer through infill drilling, including 391 meters at 0.74% total copper.
391 meters at 0.74% total copper. That's significant. This really strengthens their position in the U.S. copper market.
Yeah, for sure. And with the U.S. government's emphasis on domestic sourcing of critical minerals, companies like Arizona Sonoran are in a good spot.
Absolutely. Definitely keep an eye out for their 2025 pre-feasibility study. It'll give us a clearer picture of how the project is going.
All right, one last headline before we wrap up this segment. Golden Caribou trades on the CSE as GCC and OTC as GCCFF. And they're back with more exciting news from British Columbia's historic Caribou Gold District.
Yeah, that's a region with a lot of history, right?
Yeah.
Golden Caribou's been making some big moves there. What's the latest?
Okay, get ready for this one. It's a long one. Golden Caribou intersects Brito 0.99 grand gold and 9.8 grand head, AG over 237 meters, 777 feet, including 1.45 grand gold over 137 meters, 450 feet. Within a broader zone of 0.71 grand gold over 342 meters, 1,122 feet, extending halo zone.
Wow, 0.71 grams per ton of gold over 342 meters, and a high-grade zone of 1.45 grams per ton over 137 meters. That's fantastic.
And here's the kicker. The halo zone is still open to the northwest and at depth, meaning there's potential for even more gold to be discovered out there.
Sounds like they're on a roll.
They are, for sure.
And, you know, it's interesting to see how these companies are all kind of capitalizing on these bigger market trends. You know, we got ImagineAR riding that wave of immersive technology, Arizona Sonoran tapping into that demand for domestic copper, Emperor Metals and Golden Caribou benefiting from, you know, the strength of the gold market.
Yeah, they're all in the right place at the right time. But what I find really fascinating is that they're not just relying on these trends, they're like actively innovating within their sectors, like ImagineAR and their revenue model. They're not just going for one-off projects.
Yeah.
They're building recurring revenue streams.
Yeah, exactly. And Emperor Metals using AI to help them explore more efficiently. That's another good example of how these smaller companies are using tech to compete with the big guys.
It makes you wonder what else is out there that we don't even know about yet.
Right.
There's just so much potential for growth in this market.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important for investors to, keep an open mind and look beyond just the big names. These small cap companies might not be household names yet, but they could be the ones making the biggest moves.
True. And, we've talked a lot about the good stuff, but it's important to remember that investing in small caps always has risks. These are often early-stage companies with not a ton of history.
Right.
Their stock prices can be volatile.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee of success.
Exactly. Investors need to do their research, understand the financials, and, really understand the risks involved.
Yeah.
Don't just get caught up in the excitement of a big discovery.
So for our listeners who are intrigued by these companies and want to learn more, where should they start?
Well, first things first, read those full press releases. We've only talked about the headlines here, but they have a lot more info about the companies and their plans.
Yeah, don't stop there. Look at their websites, read their financial reports, get as much info as you can.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. Reach out to the companies directly or talk to a financial advisor.
Good advice investing is a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
Take your time, do your research, and invest in companies you really believe in.
Now let's go back to the companies we discussed. What stood out to you as particularly noteworthy?
I think for me, it's their strategy with these trends. It's clear that they're not just reacting to market changes. They're thinking ahead and getting ready for the future. Like ImagineAR with immersive entertainment and Arizona Sonoran with domestic copper production. They're playing the long game.
Totally agree. They're showing foresight and innovation, which are key in today's world.
And let's not forget the technology side of things. Emperor Metals using AI to be more efficient with exploration. Golden Caribou using advanced drilling techniques. They're embracing tech to stay ahead.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how technology is changing. Even traditional industries like mining, it's creating new opportunities for smaller companies to compete.
This just highlights how dynamic and exciting the small cap market is. It's a place where innovation is constant, and early investors have the chance to be a part of some big growth stories.
Exactly. It's a thrilling time to be following this market. And for those willing to do the work and take the risks, the rewards can be huge.
But as we've said, thorough research and careful consideration are key. Don't let excitement outweigh making smart investment decisions.
So as we wrap up this segment, what final thoughts do you want to leave our listeners with?
Well, I think the big takeaway here is don't underestimate the small caps. They might not be as well known as the big companies, but they're often the ones really shaking things up and changing the game.
Yeah, they're the innovators. And for investors, that means a chance for big growth. Of course, more reward usually means more risk, so do your research.
So if one of these companies caught your attention, what's the next step?
Don't just skim the headlines. Go to their websites, check out their financials, see what the analysts are saying. The more you know, the better decisions you can make.
Good point. Always got to go beyond the surface level. And this is just a taste of what's happening in the small cap world.
Yeah, there are so many companies out there pushing the limits, developing new tech, exploring new markets. It's really exciting.
So keep exploring, stay curious,
Yeah.
and you might just find your next big investment.
One last thought before we go. Pay attention to the big trends that are driving these companies' success. Things like the rise of immersive tech, the demand for copper, and the strong gold market. Understanding those forces can really give you an advantage as an investor.
That's a great tip. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of small cap breaking news. We'll be back soon with more insights and analysis. Until then, happy investing.